They buried my best friend in a prison cemetery 3 days ago. No family, no flowers. Just a pine box and a number. Everyone thinks he was a monster who deserved to rot in there.
But the truth is, I'm the one who put him there 60 years ago. Not the judge, not the jury. Me. I am the monster who got away. I turn 87 tomorrow. People look at me and they see a zenal old man, a retired architect, a loving grandfather. They see the polished oak floors of this library, the photos of my smiling grandchildren on the mantelpiece, and they tell me I've lived a good life, a blessed life. They shake my hand and ask me what my secret is for living so long, for being so happy. If only they knew. Every brief I've taken for the last 60 years has been stolen. This air, this sunlight coming through the window, this freedom, none of it belongs to me. It's all contraband. It's all theft. It belonged to a boy named Jack. We were 22. We had the world at our feet. Jack, he had a herd of gold and a wild streak, a mile wide. He was the kind of guy who would give you the shirt off his back if you were called. I was different. I was the careful one, the golden boy, the one with the scholarships and the big plans, the one who was going to be somebody. Well, I became somebody all right. I became a coward. Here's a mirror in the hallway, an antique thing my late wife bought years ago. I cover it with a sheeted night. I tell the maids to keep the dust off, but there's a lie. I cover it because I can't stand to look at myself. I haven't looked my reflection in the eye since worser. Because when I do, I don't see a successful old man waiting to meet his maker. I see a fraud. Jack died in a state penitentiary last week. He spent his entire adult life, every single precious day, in a concrete box because of a choice I made in a split second. He took the blame for the blood on my hands. He stepped into the hell that was man for man. And I, God help me, I just stood there. I let him do it. I let him throw his life away to save mine. And I never gave it back. Let me take you back to 64. It was a different world then. The music was loud. The cars were fast. And we thought we were indestructible. I was finishing up my architecture degree, top of my class. Already had a job lined up at a big firm in the city. I was the pro of the neighborhood. My parents walked around with their chest puffed out whenever they talked about me. I was the golden boy, the one who did everything right. Then there was Jack. Jack was, well, he was royal-dest, edged. He grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. He barely finished high school. Worked as a mechanic at his uncle's garage. Grease under his fingernails. Cigarette tucked behind his ear. That was Jack. But he had a loyalty that you don't find in more. He looked up to me like I was some kind of king just because it's red reverence. He always said, "You rode on a bill skyscrapers, buddy, and I'll be down here looking up at him saying no." That guy. That night, we were celebrating. I had just gotten my acceptance letter. We went to a Rodostoust. We drank too much. Way too much. Whiskey. Beer. It didn't matter. We were young and spittin' full of that liquid courage. Around midnight, We stumbled out to the parking lot. It had started to rain. A slick, oily rain. I walked towards my car. A brand new cherry cup my father had bought me as a graduation gift. It was my pride and joy. Jack, he could barely stand, but he grabbed my arm. He looked at me with those glassy eyes and said, "Hey, maybe we should slip it off in the car, or let me drive. I handle slick rows better than you college boys." He was joking, mostly, but my damn urgent ego flared up. I was the golden boy, remember? I could handle anything. I slapped his hand away. I loused at him. I said, "Get in, Jack. I drive my own car. Nobody drives this beauty but me." If I had just handed him the keys, or if I had dislistened it, Jack would probably be a grandfather today. He'd be fishing on a lake somewhere. But I didn't. I got behind the wheel. I turned the key. And I drove a straight into the abyss. I don't remember the first few miles. I just remember the rhythm of the windshield wipers. Slap, 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 slap. It was hypnotic. The road was a black ribbon beneath us, slick and dangerous. I was lounging at something Jack said, feeling the speed, feeling invincible. Then came the curve. Dead man's curve. They called it locally. I didn't slow down. I tapped to the brakes. Just a tap. But on that wet asphalt, it was enough to lose everything. The back of the car swung out. I remember Jack yelling my name. I remember spinning. The world outside, the windows turning into a blur of wet trees and darkness. And then, lights. 2 bright beams coming the other way. The sound wasn't like in the movies. It wasn't a bang. It was a crunch. A sickening, needle-tearing crunch that vibrated right bones. The glass exploded inward. The steering wheel punched me in the chest. We spun again and slammed into the guardrail. 10. Silence. Absolute. Heavy silence. The engine had died. The radio had cut out. The only sound was the hissing of the radiator and the rain drumming on the chromophone. I sat there, gasping for air, checking my arms, my legs. I was okay. Bruised, shaking, but alive. I looked over at Jack. He was bleeding from a cut on his forehead, dazed, but moving. We scrambled out of the wicket into the rain. The smell. I'll never forget his never pied smell. Burned rubber, gasoline, and something metallic. We looked at what I had hid. It was a station wagon. It was crushed against a tree on the other side of the road. Steam was rising from its hood. There was no movement inside. None. In that moment, staring at that twisted metal tom, the alcohol evaporated from my blood instantly. Cold, hard reality crashed down on me. I didn't think about the people in that car. God forgive me. I didn't run over to help them. I stood there, paralyzed, and the only thought screaming in my head was my scholarship, my job, my reputation. It's over. I'm going to prison. My life is over. Then we heard it. The wail, faint at first, like a wolf howling in the distance, then getting louder. Sirens. They were coming for me. I started to hyperventilate. I was pacing back and forth in the mud, gripping my hair, muttering, "I can't go to jail. I can't. My dad will kill me. The firm will fire me." I was a mess. A pathetic, weeping mess. Jack grabbed my shoulders. His grip was hard. He shook me. "Listen to me," he yelled over the rain. "Listen." I looked at him. He wasn't scared. He looked resolved. "You have a life," Jack said. His voice was steady. "You trying to be an architect. You're going to marry Sarah. You have a future." He pointed a thumb at himself. "Me. I'm just a grease monkey. Nobody expects anything from me. I got a record already for that bar fight last year. One more Mark 1 matter." I stared at him, not understanding, or maybe refusing to understand because I knew what he was offering. "Tell them I was driving," Jack said. The words hum in the air between us, heavier than the rain. "No," I whispered, but it was a weak whisper. "Ali." "Yes," Jack insisted. He pushed me toward the passenger side of my car. "Sit down. Shut up. Let me do the talking. You were drunk. You were asleep." I took the keys. "Got it." The sirens were close now. Blue and red lights started flashing against the wet trees. This was the moment. The moment to be a man. The moment to say, "No, Jax, I did this. I'll take the hit." But it didn't. I looked at the WEX station wagon. I looked at the approaching police cars. And then I looked at my best friend. And I saw something in his eyes. He wasn't saving me. He was believing in me. He thought my life was worth more than his freedom. So I sat down on the wet grass by the passenger door. I wiped the mud off my face. And when the sheriff shined his flashlight in my eyes and asked, "Who was driving this vehicle?" I didn't say a word. I just pointed at Jack. And why was it? The blade fell. I severed my soul right there in the ditch. The trial was a blur of mahogany wood and hushed whispers. I remember the smell of the courtroom. Old paper and floor wicks. It smelled like judgment. The victims were a family, a favor, a mother, and a 6-year-old girl. They showed pictures. I can't look. I stared at my shoes. I stared at the ceiling. I stared anywhere but at the jury box or at Jack. When the district attorney called me to the stand, I felt like I was walking to the gallows. I placed my hand on the Bible. I swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth. And then I looked at the jury and lied through my teeth. Jack was driving, I said. My voice didn't even shake. That's what scares me the most looking back. I was so good at it. I was asleep in the passenger seat. I woke up, we were hit. I glanced at Jack. He was sitting at the defense table in a cheap suit his public defender had found for him. He didn't look angry. He didn't look betrayed. He just gave me a small, sad nod, like he was telling me, "It's okay. Stick to the story. Go live your life." Ted nod broke me more than a scream ever could. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours. Guilty. 3 counts of vehicular manslaughter. The judge was a hard man. He wanted to make an example out of this reckless youth. He gave Jack 25 years to life. 25 years. I heard Jack's mother sobbing in the back row. I heard the gasp of the crowd. But Jack, he just stood up, put his hands behind his back, and let the bailiff cuff him as they led him away. He looked back one last time. He locked eyes with me. He mouthed two words, "Be great." He wanted me to be great. He wanted my life to mean something since he was giving up his own. He wanted me to build those skyscrapers. I walked out of that courthouse a free man. The sun was shining. Birds were singing. But I felt like I was carrying a corpse on my back. And I've been carrying it ever since. I did what Jack told me. I became great. I married Sarah 2 years later. We had 3 beautiful children. I made partner at the firm by 30. I designed libraries, hospitals, unears, skyscrapers. I stood at ribbon-cutting ceremonies with mayors and governors, smiling for the cameras, holding Jan's kisses, but every time the flash went off, it felt like a gunshot. I was living a stolen life. Every birthday cake I blew out candles for was a year Jack was eating cafeteria slop on a metal tray. Every time I tucked my kids into soft beds, I thought about Jack sleeping on a thin mattress next to a toilet. I tried to pay for my sins with money. That's what cowards do. Months. For 60 years. I sent an envelope of cash to Jack's commissary account. No return address. No note. Just cash. Enough for him to buy extra food, Thames, cigarette, stamps. I sent money to his mother until she passed away. I paid for her funeral anonymously. But I never went to see him. Not once. The prison was only a 2-hour drive from my house. I could have gone on a Sunday. I could have sat across the glass and picked up the phone and said, "Thank you. I am sorry. I love you." But I was too weak. I was terrified that if I looked Ivya's eyes, the wall I had built around my conscience would crumble. I was afraid he would finally look at me with hate. Or was. Forgiveness. I didn't deserve his forgiveness, so I let him rot. I let his hair turn gray. I let his teeth fall out. I let his spirit break bit by bit within those walls. I drank expensive wine and complained about taxes. I heard rumors. Troll layers I hired to check on him from a distance. Jack got into fights. He spent time in solitary. He stopped talking to people. The bright, wild spark in him, the sparks that saved me, was slowly snuffed out by the darkness I left him in. Last Tuesday, the phone rang. It wasn't Jack calling to say he was coming home. It was the warden. He'd filler. It happened in his sleep. Peaceful, the warden said, as if giant in a cage can ever be peaceful. As if Zion surrounded by strangers and steel bars is a dignified end for a man who gave up everything for love. I drove to the prison cemetery. It's a field of dirt and weeds behind the facility. They call it a potter's field. It's where they put the man nobody claims. I stood behind a line of oak trees, wearing a hat pulled low and dark sunglasses. I felt like a spy, a criminal hiding from the law. I watched 2 old gravediggers lower a simple pine box into the ground. There was no prize, no elegy, no tears except the yoins burning behind my glasses. Just the sound of dirt hitting wood. Tood, tud, tood. After the workers left, I walked over to the fresh mound of earth. I wanted to fall to my knees. I wanted to scream. But I just stood there, stiff and cold in my expensive Italian suit. I went to the administrative office to collect his personal effects, since I was the only one on his contact list, the only one who ever sent money. Tay gave them to me. It was a cardboard shoebox. That was it. 60 years of life. 60 years of sacrifice. And it all fit in a single shoebox. I sat in my car and opened it. A pack of Unipen cigarettes. A deck of worn playing cards. And a photo. It was a small, black and white Polaroid. Crumpled. Yellowed with age. The edges were soft from being held and touched 1,000 times. Was a picture of us, me and Jack, standing next to that cherry paratarid car in Montessors. We were laughing. My arm was around his shoulder. He didn't keep pictures of movie stars. He didn't keep pictures of landscapes. He kept a picture of his betrayer. He kept a picture of the man who stole his life. He looked at that photo every day for 60 years. Not with hate, but with loyalty. He was waiting for me. All the time, he was waiting for me to show up. To just show up. And I never did. So here I am, 87 years old. A millionaire. A pillar of the community. And the loneliest man on God's green earth. I'm telling you this. Whoever is listening. Not because I went for Jimus. I don't expect it. I'm telling you this as a warning. There is no pillow soft enough to comfort a guilty conscience. There is no amount of money that can buy back your self-respect. I used to think the worst thing to'd happen to a man was brazen. I was wrong. The worst thing is being free, while your soul is in chains. I have walked through this beautiful life looking over my shoulder, waiting for a tap on the back that never came. Jack was the criminal on paper, but he was more of a man than I ever was. He had honor. He had courage. He faced his fate standing tall. I hid behind a lee, and I shrank. I became small. To all the young folks out there, listen to an old fool. If you make a mistake, own it. If you break something, fix it. If you hurt someone, apologize. Do not, I repeat, do not let someone else carry your cross. It might save your skin in the moment. It might save your career, but it will rot you from the inside out. It will turn your victories into ash and your smiles into mast. I am going to go uncover that mirror in the hallway now. I am going to look at myself. And for the first time in 60 years, I am going to see the truth. I'm not the golden boy. I never was. I am just the man who survived because a better man died for him.
Rest in peace, Jack. I'll be seeing you soon. And this time, I won't look away.